Okay, so in this section we are going to go through scheduling equipment within Revit 2015. If we go to the standards folder on Galaxy in the training subfolder under what's training materials, I have a presentation. This is what I used during the class, so it's a decent reference. It's not really finished yet, it's still in progress, but I think for the equipment schedule section it is pretty useful. So this is the general workflow for scheduling equipment in Revit. First step we covered in one of the previous videos, create family types to represent line items on the equipment schedule. And as we discovered, you can use two different families, and we're going to show today how to create, how to assign those to the same line item on the equipment schedule. And as a note, if it's possible while you're creating the type and placing it in the model, that's really the best place to put the catalog information. That's not always available. So a lot of times you're designing, kind of, you know what you need, but you don't have a specific specification for it yet. So that's fine. We just place the type in the model, and then we can go back, and during the scheduling phase, then we can enter the catalog information. As we place the step 2 is then that step of placing the instances in the model itself. And then there are 3 steps to scheduling the equipment. We have really 3 equipment schedules shown on, or rather shown in the Revit model. They're included with the template. The first is the step 1 schedule, entering the data entry view. Next is the step 2 schedule, the number entry view, which allows us to sort the data and combine items into the same line item. And we'll demonstrate that in a second. And then the final is the production equipment schedule, which we can filter it to create a number of different schedules just to break up how many items are shown in each sheet. So for step 1, the data entry view, we use that view to enter the catalog information for each item. Let's just demonstrate that really quickly. If we go here to, we got the equipment schedule step 1, the data entry view. We'll open that up, and you can see all the information that we entered as we were placing items in the model that we were creating, as we were creating types and whatnot, or this was pre-entered with the family. So you'll see a lot of the information is already pre-generated here. We don't have catalog information just yet, but the equipment schedules filter presets, if you care to take a look at the field grouping for the production equipment schedule. The sorting is all based on the part number, and the way the schedule works is that it's going to group items automatically that have the same description. So by setting the description and part number to be the same for 2 different families, you can get them to show up on the same line item. So let's just kind of take a look here at what we have. We've got a number of items. Most of them don't have part numbers, but in this data entry view, it's going to list out every family and type that's in your model. It doesn't give any kind of preference for what it is. There's really no filtering here. It just lists out everything that you've placed in the model. So there's nothing should be omitted. Then this is where you go through each one, and if you're not sure what this is or where it's supposed to go, this is when you have your 3D view open at the same time. WT, not in schedule. You press WT to tile your views, and as you go through, highlight your items in the model and determine what is what. So that one is conduit, and you'll notice over here there's a checkbox, this is the first field that shows up in the model, or rather in the schedule. It's scheduled equipment. So if we don't want an item or a family or a group of families to show up on our equipment schedule, let's say for instance that we don't need to call out conduits with fittings, or we don't need to call out conduits on the equipment schedule. I mean, we have a conduit schedule that defines each conduit individually, so there's no real need to have a separate line item entry on our equipment schedule. We can just clear this. We can just clear this box, and you'll get a orange indicator that this family is not being scheduled. So this family will not show in our equipment schedule. You'll probably notice that annoying dialog box. This is a change to Revit 2015. Whenever you edit a schedule value that will change a type setting or a type parameter, then you'll get this dialog box each time. It makes working with schedules a lot more tedious in Revit than it used to be. Unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about it this time. It's just the way Revit schedules work. We're trying to come up with an add-on that will make data entry a little bit easier, but that is some time out. So for now, it's just something we have to get used to. So let's go ahead and we'll clear that. We don't want conduits to show up in the final equipment schedule. Yes. If we don't need, you may want to, sometimes you may want to do a separate conduit takeoff schedule. So we could clear those out. So we'll get rid of those. Those will all show up on a separate conduit takeoff schedule. We're not going to put them in our equipment schedule. So now we're left with the actual equipment. As I mentioned before, the main thing to have here before you move on to the next phase is at least have all your descriptions lined up, so that when you go on to the number entry view, you can see clearly what's going on.